Welcome to my video on why do athletes collapse at the end of an ultramarathon. So an ultramarathon is a high endurance event with athletes typically completing months, if not years, of training for its intensity. An example of this is the Ironman event, a triathlon that consists of 225.8 kilometers of travel, which is swimming, cycling, and running all together, and it's typically completed in an average of 12 and a half hours. Many athletes are seen collapsing at the end of an ultra marathon event, and we're looking in a study by De Amorim et al. 2020 and as to why this might be. And this study looked into amateur ultra marathon participants looking into these mechanics. So this study looked specifically in postural control and its role in the collapse, because collapsing post Ironman is a phenomenon where the body is experiencing the threshold of the biomechanical and neuromuscular fatigue. And these are usually often from key factors such as gait mechanics, shock attenuation, and postural control. But this video, we're only looking into that postural control. And in the study, they noted that maintaining an upright running posture requires continuous processing of the central nervous system. So we're looking into like the somatosensory, the visual, and the vestibular inputs to keep the body center of mass within its shifting base of support. And their hypothesis was looking into seeing if there's an increase of the area of the center of gravity and seeing if blood glucose levels played a role into this. But they mentioned that the postural control is a decrease in it decreases due to a result of fatigue, which is often triggered by dehydration, blood lactate levels, even psychological status such as like sadness and maybe even excessive neural activity, thus reducing that stock of neurotransmitters. However, their hypothesis was kind of wrong. It's not attributed to lower glucose levels. They did find that these athletes had higher level concentration of glucose levels. And they mentioned different studies talking about a decrease in balance and how the athletes would have difficulties walking after long and intense exercises. And one study they mentioned, they looked into quadriceps exercise, looking into like the shorten and sliding mechanics of it. And they did mention that the difficulty of walking and the balance, it's all related to an increased area of the center of gravity. So when one athlete finishes an ultra marathon, the athlete's collapse is maybe a result of compounding factors. And they did find that with the effect of the Ironman distance triathlon, it does increase an area of center of the center of gravity. This is indicating a decrease in motor control and within maintaining static and dynamic control of posture, which thus then causes the loss of balance and that inability to keep upright. Meaning that with how long that these athletes endure with the event, it can cause serious injuries due to that fatigue, that muscle fatigue. They will lose their balance, thus injuring themselves. It could happen during cycling, but it is mainly seen during the running when this with as the cycling is 180 kilometers and then you're running right after it. Your quadriceps works harder during that cycling phase. When you transition from the cycling to the running, your quads have grown fatigue, but these athletes understand how to do those transitions pretty well. But by the time they do get to that finish line, their body has hit that threshold of what it can, that threshold of those mechanics, and you're not able to keep upright as well. All right. And this is my references. The second reference was looking more into that mountain ultramarathon, but they were looking sort of more into the physiology of this. They did mention for further research to look deeper into the postural control, which is what Dim Amorim looked into. Thank you so much.